Hey everybody, now welcome back to my channel Planet Build, and welcome to episode 14 of Sunshine Scandinavia. Now in the last episode, episode 13, we did a small recap on the things that we built so far for Sunshine Scandinavia. Now today will be a speed build again, and we're going to theme the attraction over here, which I call the Wave Buster. Now there will be a lot of rocks involved in this one, and I'm also going to add in some surfing elements and some theming around surfing in this attraction. And as you can see over here, King Coaster is already ready to travel from point A to point B, and that is just a small detail that I'm going to add for this attraction. So let's get right into the speed build and show you guys what we can create of the Wave Buster attraction over here. Now I wanted to create a surfing theme for this attraction. I got the coral theming on the Coral Reef mining attraction. I got the sort of pirate theming on the Flight at Black Rock Cave attraction. I got a standard resort type of theming on the monorail station, so there was still something missing for this aquatic area, and in my opinion that was in this case the attraction over here, which showcases a little bit of a wave theming with the attraction itself, but also with the things I can create with it. So therefore I wanted to add in the wave elements and also the surfboard elements in this attraction. And therefore I got the horizontal and the vertical platforms combined to create the King Coaster statue, and actually have it go from right to left on a surfboard in this case, and I think that adds just a little bit extra to this attraction and also showcases the theming on this attraction. Now this whole section of the Coral Reef District is packed with triggers and animations and stuff like that, and each time I start a new area like this one over here, I'm trying to up the level of detail a little bit more, and I'm figuring out the way Planet Coaster 2 works even more since when I think it's beginning of November when it came out. So I'm actually kind of happy with that, and I do need to stay focused on not putting too much detail in it because I still have a long way to go with this park. The section 3 for Coral Reef District also needs to be finished. That will not be highly themed as this, or it will not contain that much pieces as this district over here, this section 2 of this district. I think it will have more nature, more mountains in it, although it has 2 coasters, so that will be another completely different section than the section over here. And then we got the Olympic section, which will be a whole new section for the park, for Sunshine Scandinavia, but that will be something for the future. Now for this attraction, as I said, I wanted a lot of rocks in this just to cover up the front side of the attraction. And there's just one thing bothering me, and that's the railing on the attraction. Maybe in the future, and correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe in the future that would be an option to enable or able the fencing on the attraction as well, in this case the flat ride. So now I'm just trying to cover up with rocks and later on with some wooden pieces. And the backside will be also rocks, and I'm always looking for a nice composition for the guests to see the attraction from different angles, and then make sure that it looks nicely from all different angles. And in this case I was a little bit hard to add in some water. Eventually I wanted to add a waterfall in the front of the attraction and some water flowing through the attraction, but that's kind of hard because the guests do have to walk on the flat ride to enter or exit the attraction. So I only could add in water on the backside over here. but nonetheless, I'm going to add that water, and I'm going to put in more detail, and I'm also going to add in the groups of fish that I used for the rest of the section over here, which travel in randomly order, just to make it more realistic and have those fish swim in the water. Now there's this one thing that I do with the large rock. I'm not quite sure what number rock it is, but it's the biggest rock that there's in the game. And what I do with the rock is I turn it around 180 degrees, and then I do believe that the detailing in the rock and the how do you say that, the structure of the rock, the structures in the rock is more detailed than it is in its original form. And it's not this one, it's not 11, I guess it's number 9, because it's let's see, no, it's 11. I turn 11 around, and then I think 11 has a much more detailed surface than the original form of it. So maybe a crazy thing that I do in my gameplay. So and I know that the use of a large amount of rocks can make a structure or a scenery look quite quite basic. But I think when you add in the right types of foliage, and later on add in some in this case some netting or some ropes, or some other details that could fit the same theme as you used in the rest of the park, then I think you can nicely cover up the whole massive structure of those rocks. And I do find myself not using so many different types of pieces. I usually use the same type of pieces for in this case the Coral Reef District, but I do love to give them a little bit of different colors. In this case, Planet Coaster 2 gives you the option to resize them, so that's what I'm trying to do, and I think that helps me a lot with by speeding up the process for this park, and speeding up the process for my builds. And I also know that there was an update a couple of days ago for the game, and I do have to say I didn't have that much trouble with the game crashing a lot. I think I had only 2 or 3 crashes over the last couple of months, so I'm very grateful for that one, because that gives me the opportunity to actually keep on building Sunshine Scandinavia. But yeah, hopefully the hotfix that did something for you guys, so that you can guys also can play the game as many times as you like, and yeah, hopefully it worked and the game does not crash that often anymore. So, you know, it's such an amazing game when it works, and I hope they will be adding in more DLC soon, because I think, like I said, I used a lot of same pieces in my park so far. Mostly the bushes and the trees are quite similar for the rest of my park, so hopefully any DLC will give a lot of new trees and stuff like that. And in my opinion, I think a nice DLC would be a Asian DLC, maybe Japan or China type of theming. But I guess I also like the fantasy theme, just like in Planet Coaster 1. I think every theme park needs a fantasy themed area, so hopefully they will be adding in one of those DLCs very soon. As you can see, in about, let's say, 9 minutes or so, 10 minutes, we got a lot of rocks around this attraction, and it's time to cover up the King Coaster server, just to make it appear from a cave and then eventually disappear in another cave. And it has, like I said, the 4 horizontal. No, that's a lie. It's 6 horizontal moving platforms and 5 vertical platforms. And with the 6 horizontal platforms, I can make it travel the distance of the length of the attraction, just by repeating the sequence in an event sequencer each 2 seconds. So I'm moving horizontal line 1 at the start of 0 seconds, and then within each 2 seconds the next one starts, and that will create a long line for the surfer to surf through the water. And I guess the use of triggers in your park, but also the moving elements in your park, is just something you have to practice a lot and figure out how the timing will be in the event sequencer, just to see for yourself how quickly or how long a object will travel from point A to point B. So that's just something that you have to figure out yourself. The only thing that I know is that I mostly put the horizontal platforms on slow pause, and then when I put it on in a sequence of 2 seconds from each other, that's the perfect moment when it would pause, and you can determine the length with each 2 seconds. So and the same thing counts for the vertical platforms. And that's also the way I created those groups of fish which travel throughout the whole Coral District over here. Just like this one. Now the only thing that bothers me is when you copy a group of moving platforms, it just in this case I have to put it on deactivated and trigger only again. Otherwise they will be in a loop. So I'm not quite sure if there's a solution to that one, but each time I copy one of those animatronics in this case, I have to put it on deactivated again and then activate it again on trigger only. So that's the thing that bothers me, and would save me a lot of time if I can just copy it and it remembers the ability that I wanted to move in. So you got trigger only, you got loop, and you got continuous, I guess. So now there's still some things to do for section 2. This will be the last attraction for section 2 in the Coral Reef District. The only thing left for section 2 is a small stand for the guests to have a seat, which will also provide something to drink or something to eat, and that will be on the most right side of this section. Probably going to do that not in a speed build, but in my own time. Otherwise the types of speed build will be quite similar to the rest of the things that I showcased already. And I think it's time to move on to the third section, where I get the idea of creating a drop coaster, just a similar one as we've seen in the trailer, with a lot of tropical elements around it. And I also want a wave coaster in this park, and I think the wave coaster just fits perfectly within the theming of the Coral Reef District. And then eventually, when section 3 is ready, we're going to work continues on the swimming pool area and on the volcano area. I do need to say that I had some lack of creativity for the last couple of days. That's also the main reason why I did not shared a showcase of the building of the monorail station, mostly because I guess that took me about 7 hours or so. Because I was not quite sure what kind of theming I want in the monorail station building, and sometimes you just got a lack of creativity, but you also got some days where you're like, oh man, I can play this game all day long because I'm bursting from creativity. So, and in my situation, I had a lack of creativity for let's say the last 10 days or so. But I'm glad I found it back for the attraction over here. And like I said before, I'm using a lot of same types of scenery which I used in the rest of the park, and I think that speeds up the process of the builds. But also, because there's sometimes just when I play Planet Zoo a lot, and I think I got all the DLC packs from Planet Zoo. I'm not quite sure how many Planet Zoo DLC packs there were, but maybe I missed out 1 or 2. But there was so much scenery in that game, and I can't wait once we're 1 or 2 years away from this point, how many scenery there will be in Planet Coaster 2, and to see what things we can create of all those scenery pieces that will be in the game by then. So we still have to wait for that one. Also, something that I hope Frontier will change. You can make a pathwork over the water, and like in this case, when you look, for example, say this is a bridge. If you look underneath the bridge, it's you get the white concrete from the lower section of the pathwork, and hopefully they can add in more of those custom pieces already automatic placed to the pathwork, so that you don't have to cover up the bottom of the bridges as well. The same counts for the fences which are in the game. Sometimes they do work, but in this case there's no fence that would fit the aquatic theming besides the fences that you can place yourself. So I think it would be a nice addition to the game if they would add in more types of fences which you can automatically place on your pathwork, so that you don't have to use all those custom fences in your park, and which also reduces the amount of scenery that you have to put in your game. And again, I think that also speeds up the process of building a park. So hopefully there will be something that they can add in the future, if it's even possible. I'm not quite sure if it's possible yet. Now, there's just one thing to do for this attraction, and that is the entrance building. What I do prefer right now for my attractions is to make a pathway towards the entrance, and then have the overlap from the normal pathway to the actual queue for the attraction, so that you don't see the start of the queue, because the queue is just a small area where guests have to walk through. It's a small pathwork, so I do try to cover up the transition between the normal path and the queue, just like this one over here. And something I did forgot in all my attractions so far, and I think I figured that out when I was retheming the Coral Reef mining, is that you can, I know they were in the game, but you can add the skip the line queue as well, but you have to make an additional queue for that one. And I can remember from Planet Coaster 1 that you had to make a entrance and exit area on the existing queue. So you get the main queue, and in the main queue you have to add in a entrance and exit. And in this case, that's not in Planet Coaster 2. You have to connect it to the main path. So maybe that will be something I'm going to do for any future attractions. But I do have to say that it's not quite busy at the attractions. Most people go to the swimming pool, so it's not quite necessary to add in skip the lane queues. And so there you have it for today's speed build of the Wave Buster attraction. I'm not quite sure where this guy is going. The lifeguard. Maybe he's going to to hit the waves as well with his surfboard. But now he sees that this is an attraction. He has no place to be here, but okay. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate all the views and all the comments on my attraction builds and also on Sunshine Scandinavia. Let's just go ahead and see what we did today. We did the theming on this attraction. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to upload it on a workshop because I don't think you could place this attraction like a standalone attraction because you have to rework the path work. I used a lot of cave elements over on the backside, so I don't think it will fit nicely within a empty park. So sorry for that one, but I do think it fits perfectly within Sunshine Scandinavia. Let's just go ahead and put it on test to see what the King Coaster statue looks like when it's surfing from point A to point B. And like I said before, I think that adds in a little bit more detail to this attraction. Also hits nicely with the theming of this attraction. And there he goes. I think this is a little bit nerdy, but I do like the things that you can create with all those moving platforms. I hope that in the future they would add in a little bit more freedom when it comes to determining the length and the travel time and stuff like that of all those platforms, so that you create even more highly detailed animatronics with those moving platforms. And we still got a lot of things to do for this Coral Reef District. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this speed build. And let me know what you think of the Wave Buster attraction over here. And I hope to see you guys very soon in the next video. Thank you all. Bye bye.